Good morning to you. Let's start with King Charles.
Morning, Pip.
Hopefully we can show these pictures of King Charles looking through all these cards. And one, I think, showed a dog recovering from medical treatment and telling him, at least you don't have to wear a cone. And in total, I think, there's been 7,000 messages at least that he's received from around the world. Why do you think the royal family is so keen to show us this footage?
Well, two reasons. I suppose one is partly to show that the king is okay and that he's functioning, that he's at his desk and going through a red box, which normally contains government papers, but obviously in this case it's also contained some get well cards. And I think secondly also to tell the people that send them that he does receive these kind of things, because if you just send a card with just best wishes, Mrs. Jones, you don't know whether he'll ever see it. So it's quite nice to know that they do get through and that a certain percentage are helping the king. So it's I think there's two reasons.
Yeah, I have to say, if I'd sent a card and saw him actually reading it, some of this footage, I'd be so thrilled.
Cock-a-hoop.
Actually, I mean, it's a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, they do get a percentage. I mean, the late Queen actually opened a percentage of the cards herself because she said that they're isolated, they're cocooned, if you like, in these private estates, and they don't always see people that are just ordinary people. I mean, they're surrounded by yes people that say, you know, you did a great speech, sir, the other day. I mean, they don't actually see ordinary people. So she always said it was she thought the letters were personal to herself, and that it gave her an idea about what was worrying people and concerning people, you know. So, I mean, the day-to-day letters, I mean, not these kind of letters, but, you know, if your hospital was closing down and you would write to the Queen or the King and say that, they actioned it. The Queen would pass it on to the Department of Health, and the Secretary of State would have to deal with it, you know. So it kept her in the loop, so to speak, and the King.
And what's lovely about this as well is that we're told that where people have included an address, they are going to get a response saying, you know,
that's always happened,
thank you for your lovely wishes, which will mean the world to people.
Yeah, what normally happens, or what used to happen again with the Queen, was that the ladies in waiting, and they don't really have them now, but the secretaries, if you like, would send a set reply to a birthday card or something like that. But if it was something more involved, shall we say, then it goes to the Queen's or King's private secretary, and they would action it on behalf of the King. And very, very occasionally, I think they would reply themselves. I think the King probably would, and Camilla certainly does. You know, that if it's something that's touched her greatly, she will actually sign it herself. You know, so they do see them, which is quite nice. You know,
it is. Yeah, it is, and it's lovely. Meanwhile, I don't know what to make of what the White House said. Because in regard to Prince Harry's claim in his book that he was taking drugs, and which would have precluded him from living in the States, right? If it was one of us and we'd admitted doing that, the White House seems to be saying, well, he probably made it up.
Well, it's a difficult thing, isn't it, for them? Because, like you say, if they say, oh, he's definitely lied, then he should be thrown out of America. So it's perhaps the lesser of the two to say that he lied in his book, which, you know, sort of, or embellish the stories in his book. So they probably at least make sure he stays. So it's quite of a tricky thing, really. I wasn't sure what they're going to do with it, but I think that's the lesser of two evils, I think.
But the background to this, is it not, is that a court in the US has begun hearing a case on whether the US government should release the Duke of Sussex's visa application.
Yeah, and I think it's probably right they should, because just to see what he did put on it, whether he did admit to it or not, because he should be seen to have the same rights as everybody else. I mean, he's left the royal family, so the late Queen again was determined that you can't be half in, half out. You're either a fully working member of the royal family or a private citizen. He's gone the private route, so therefore he should face the same penalties or the same conditions as the rest of us, I think, if you're going abroad.
And he was asked, wasn't he, the other day about whether he was interested in becoming a US citizen. He kind of sort of slightly dodged that question.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tricky one again because he would obviously want to keep the links with Britain as well, because the only reason he's at all significant is because he's the son of Charles III and Diana. I mean, that's the only reason we're talking about him now. So he needs those links with Britain very strongly, I think, and to keep his British identity, because that's what makes him a significant person on the world stage, I suppose.